Welcome to Custer and Wolfe Building a Watch Company. I'm RT.
And I'm Tyler.
And today we're talking about how we've been on camera more in the last few days than we ever have and maybe ever want to be. So let's start with the question. I really like this thing that we got going, and I love these questions that we're getting. Somebody commented on a recent video and they said, is that a bottle of Blanton's behind you guys? Blanton's is a fairly rare bottle of bourbon. And they basically asked, like, what's that and what's the significance of everything behind you? And I thought we could address that because we just kind of like grabbed some random stuff from our offices in the shop, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we planned this out for months before we started using this studio, but I think it looks cool. Most of it has some sort of meaning to us.
Yeah, I mean, all the bottles of liquor are, and I guess we did do a video in my office, but in the back wall, like my Zoom background is just full of different bourbons and tequilas and things. And I just have a little like liquor collection, scotch as well. Like it started when I went to Scotland with my dad when I turned 21, and I bought a 21-year-old bottle of scotch on the way back. And that just kind of became a thing, and I started collecting stuff like that. The Blanton's was a gift from a friend. If you're watching this, thank you so much. It's one of the best gifts. It was fantastic, and I feel bad opening it, so that's currently unopened. The blue label was a gift from a friend on my 30th birthday, and we probably have one shot in there still.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looks like it's mostly empty.
So for the people following along, you might see an empty bottle of blue label because we got some fun events coming up. And then the Maker's Mark, we did a trade show, like a watch or a Maker's event. I think it was American Field at the Maker's Mark distillery. And that bottle you could only buy there at the distillery. So I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, and the Jessup Farm Barrel House is significant because the Barrel House is a brewery, and that was right next to our second location at Jessup Farms. So we used to fill that up and drink it right next door.
We had multiple of those. There's probably others floating around.
Yeah, we drank a couple beers.
They make fantastic beer. If you're ever in Fort Collins, or if you live around this area, Jessup Farm is like a hidden gem. Mm-hmm. It's like mostly just locals that go there.
In town.
And yeah, like it's like an old farm. They had the original farmhouse is a restaurant. They call it the farmhouse. Barrel House is the barn that was on the farm, and now it's a brewery. We were in the tractor storage building that was like 450 square feet for a little while. Mm-hmm. And then Bindle Coffee's there, fantastic coffee. A lot of other restaurants and shops. It's a great spot.
Yeah, just not enough space for us, so that's why we ended up moving to our previous location on Link Lane. Mm-hmm. And then we've got a small ammo can, which I think for a minute we were considering using a smaller ammo can for the military packaging, but ultimately decided we needed a full-size ammo can.
There's a lot of stuff to put in that box, yeah. The Hamilton box is really cool. That's a ship's chronometer. I think they call it the Model 22, and it's just a giant. We'll have to make a video or something about all the different other military watches. So the last video I did was just about the 499TB and similar, but there was all kinds of other military watches that Hamilton and some of these other companies made, and that's one of them. That was mounted on a Navy vessel during World War II and afterwards, and it was just a very accurate way to tell time, mounted in like a gimbal system that's inside that box.
Yeah, chronometers are cool watches. They're really, what makes a chronometer is ultra accuracy. It's a testing process. I've read a little bit about the Swiss testing process, which is very stringent. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's plus or minus a small amount of seconds per day in heat and cold and all types of different conditions. But those boxes give them shock resistance and help them to be more accurate because they used that time to calculate their location and course.
Yep. And every time I mention that kind of stuff, I always recommend the book Longitude. And that's it talks about the history of why you need to know what time it is in order to know where you are pre-GPS. So check that out if you like that kind of stuff. But the reason that we said in the intro that we've been on camera a lot is there's been a lot of stuff happening in the shop. We contracted a team of videographers to come in and support William in the direction and creation of this awesome, it's actually a series of videos, but it's all about the making of and the history of and the release and launch of the military edition watch this year. And I know there's just been equipment everywhere. There's been cameras in our faces all day, but I think it's going to be worth it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I know from what I saw, they got some really cool footage. They are paying very close attention to details and storytelling. And, we always say, like, everything we do here is super cool. It's tough to really capture it. And I think this is going to be one of the first times we really, really capture something in a really high-end video like this. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And when we filmed the first round where they interviewed me and you, my voice sounded a lot cooler than it does today. And today I just sound sick because I am. But that like first day before you truly get sick, you just get a little raspy. They were like, this is going to be good, RT. This is going to work out. So we'll see.
How did you initially get connected to Brandon?
Brandon was through the Chamber of Commerce. One of our customers, Nathan, he reached out and he's like really active in the local Chamber of Commerce. And he just connected us and he said, hey, you guys are both doing cool stuff. RT, if you ever need a video shot, Brandon and Firetribe they're good people. And that was like 2 days after we hired William. So I went to William and I was just like, hey, is it weird if we like bring in extra help? And he was like, no, it's gonna be actually pretty cool. It'll be fun. Kind of see how other people look at this and do it. So,
besides the fact that William's to-do list is one of the longest in the companies.
Exactly. Yeah. We all have a lot on our plate. And William is in charge of documenting all the things that are on all of our plates. So, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. But yeah, so that's super exciting. And, it just goes to show like networking and who and I mean, our customers have connected us to so many people. So thank you again to Nathan who connected us. And just, if you're watching this and you think we should work with someone or someone should work with us, just shoot us a message or, put in a comment or send us an email. Honestly, that's how we found half our employees, most of the contractors we worked with, just networking and asking questions. So
yeah, it's great to have a recommendation.
100%.
It really is.
So what they were documenting is actually the making of the military edition. So you're making a bunch of parts now on the DMU and all that stuff. What's like top of mind and what were you making the last few days?
Yeah, so most of the parts.
Right.
We've been running cases, backs, and bezels on the VM. Every time we hit the button on that machine, it's going for about 11 hours each day. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're running almost 24 hours a day, which is great. Parts are coming off really, really nice. We are still figuring out some of the patining and finishing process for those case parts. Sky's been polishing off those new cool crowns that we talked about for the military edition and stems. Those military movements have different stems than the rest of our watches. We did some cool stuff with special edition hands.
Yeah, we can't talk.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's special.
But yeah, pretty much everything on the machining end is now in progress. And then next week, everything should come together where finished watches are coming out of the assembly room. So we're very close to building, and with all of the upgrades that we've made to the case and everything we've talked about with the V3, we're hoping that the builds are smoother than in years past. We feel like this is absolutely the best job we've ever done, just manufacturing the parts. So hopefully that translates to smooth sailing on the assembly side too.
Yeah, and I think that you and the team have fostered a really good like collaborative environment where like we've just bounced ideas, and like Sky came to us yesterday with the crowns and basically said like, hey, I kind of messed this one up, and we both looked at it and we're like, that actually looks better. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, it was exciting to see Derek after he finished the first one just be really excited about it and happy and say like, this went together so nice, you know, because he's assembled most of the other ones for the last few years, and it hasn't been quite as smooth as this one. So
yeah, not difficult per se, but there have been issues we've had to work through during assembly that we had to go back and fix or what have you. This year we're hoping it's just straightforward, do this, do that, not moving backwards.
Yep. Yeah, there's 1% better every day, right? Like that's exciting. And speaking of like making stuff and new things, we got the new laser engraver all set up. You guys did a bunch of training on that.
Yep.
It's crazy how much we accomplished in the last couple of weeks, like all these new things. But the FOBA laser is in, and we're lasering stuff today, right?
Yep. This when did we purchase that laser? Back in March?
A long time ago.
Too long ago.
Because that was, remember we were playing golf on a weekend or on a Friday or something like that, and you got an email that said like, hey, we messed up the order. We basically, somebody gave our laser to somebody else, and we had to like reorder.
Yeah. Long story short, we wanted a laser in the short term, so we found a floor model in Chicago.
That's what happened. Yep.
That we could get a small discount. It was the perfect machine for us. Another company had a soft hold on it, but since they've had that soft hold for so long, they decided they were going to sell it to us. So we were going to have this machine in April, but didn't work out. They decided to give the machine to the company that had the soft hold on it, and that was annoying because that means they have to make our machine, and with the state of manufacturing right now, the supply chain, as they say, we're just starting to use it now. But that aside, we now have the laser.
It's done. Yep.
We had a technician. It's a FOBA machine, FOBA. It is a German machine, designed and manufactured in Germany.
A lot of German machines coming in.
Yeah, they do some good work over there.
I sure do.
But it's a Galvo style laser, as opposed to, I don't even know what to call the normal, the epilogue laser. Basically, the laser we had before and still have, the head kind of goes back and forth like a printer. Yeah. This machine, the machine doesn't move around. The laser just kind of goes around the whole thing. The beam moves, not the actual machine. So it's a lot faster. It's more powerful, more accurate. We're going to do some really cool stuff with this. We might experiment with some dials in the future. That would be really cool.
Super cool.
But yeah, they sent out a gentleman from Germany. He was very helpful. Set the machine up, and shout out to Stefan from FOBA. He's our local Denver guy.
Stefan.
And he has really helped us out, made sure that we got set up and were running parts before he left, and he put in some extra time. So that was much appreciated.
Yeah, they were here for a while.
They put in extra time. They were here at 7 a.m. on a Friday.
Awesome.
Because we needed some extra time after the first 2 days of training.
Yep.
And we're using it. We're making backs this week. So nice to see a machine hit the floor and be effective pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. And because it got delayed, I think it'll count towards our grant that we got from the state. So,
which would be great.
Just extra.
It's not a cheap machine.
Yeah, extra funding from the grant will be nice. I think the timing of that worked out pretty well. So, speaking of Friday and like getting the training in before you went and did other stuff, we have 2 new boats in the building. You and Kyle just
1 boat, 2 owners.
1 boat. Oh, you guys bought the boat together.
Bought a boat together.
Damn, that's new information and adorable.
Yeah. We're still working on the name, but it'll be good.
Okay, cool. I'm interested to hear the name, but you guys on Friday, you guys went boating with Josh, our general contractor. Yeah. Shout out to Josh. Thanks again. Project Limited is who helped us with the not so limited project that was this building. And Josh offered to take us all out, and I had something else going on, but you guys got to spend that time, and then apparently were inspired and bought yourself a boat. So.
Yes, our boat is not nearly as fancy as Josh's. It's a 1989, so it's
vintage,
aged like a fine wine.
Yeah,
but
That's older than we are.
It's a ton of fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to. I mean that work-life balance stuff will come eventually. I think this next few months and next. I mean, that's the other thing we accomplished is you and I sat down in the conference room and went through the next like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really the next 18 months. When you think about it, as far as when we're releasing which new products and what's coming down the pipe and just kind of backing into like what's possible from a manufacturing standpoint. And like the long and short of it is that we have a new thing coming roughly every 3 months in perpetuity. And that's really the point of this show and the point of all the video content we're creating is there's always going to be something new. And there's always going to be a new project. But making that like Gantt chart of like how we're, laying it all out, how did that make you feel?
I'm not sure whether I'm more excited or more daunted by it.
It is daunting.
There's a lot on the list, and that's what I was going to bring up. We've made these lists in the past. We've made spreadsheets, and we've said,
so many.
Here's what's going to happen this year. Many times. So I definitely think bringing some of that experience into this past session helped us to try and be more conservative with our planning. But at the same time, we've got more machines. We've got a bigger team. We've got excellent people on the team. We've just got more capability. We've got stable processes underneath us as we're working towards these new products and new versions of some of the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. We pretty much planned through the end of 2023, right?
Yeah.
Early 2024.
End of next year. Yep.
End of next year. And there's a lot. But all of it is, there's no fluff, is what I'd say. There's no fluff. Like, there's no new products that we were just like, hey, this is something that I've had in the back of my head for a long time. All of this was everything on our plan for the next year or 18 months is stuff that's been in the works, at least in a small way, for a long time that we've wanted to do for a long time. So it'll be cool to see all the stuff come out. I mean, we've been talking about like each year is kind of a setup year, trying to get a stable base underneath of us, a solid infrastructure for manufacturing and for marketing and for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got this facility, we've got people, we've got equipment, and we've got some processes that are working really well right now. So
yeah, and the largest company in our industry isn't suing us anymore.
Really great.
Like there's just blue ocean in front of us. It's really, really exciting. And I think the way we laid it out is really intentional as far as like we're going to do this and then we're going to do this because it flows and it makes sense from not only a manufacturing standpoint of like what's possible, but also a marketing standpoint of, should you release this one before this one and that one? And if we want to be the American watch company and get as big as Shinola and those other companies, then we need all this infrastructure. We need all this stuff. And now that we have it set up, it's really just us in the way. We just have to do more sessions like that. And then that's always the balance you were talking about of like, you let me know what's possible, what you think is feasible from a manufacturing standpoint. And then I challenge that and say like, well, can we just go like a little faster? Because this is a lot. And so I think we had a really productive conversation about that. And I think it's you use the word aggressive, like, and I think that's fair. Like it's an aggressive plan. Every 3 months doing something new is a lot, but I would call it assertive. Aggressive feels reckless. Assertive feels like we got this and we're confident we can totally do this. As long as nothing goes majorly wrong, I think it would be totally good.
Yeah, we didn't really plan for things to go wrong, which is tough to do. It's tough to plan for things to go wrong.
But if you just plan for things to go right, then,
Well, that's been the whole thing. Build an infrastructure such that things go right more than they go wrong.
That's it.
Without major disruptions in our process.
100%.
But speaking of the new machine Saga, we made a part on one of our new DMG machines.
On the DMG, yeah.
Yeah,
it was cool.
It's super cool machine. I'm getting it figured out. We got new software. Just about everything on this machine is different. So it's been a lot of like reorienting my brain. We've used all Haas machines, which are American machines. that have a certain control layout and different functions and different ways that they do things. And this machine is different in just about every way, but pretty much cool ways.
And this is the 5-axis, right?
This is the 5-axis mill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And that machine, now that it's up and running, is probably worth a video in itself, like,
yeah.
I think there's a lot that you can unpack of the difference between 4 axes and 5, and just talk about like how awesome that machine is. So I think that would be fun.
But yeah, it's hard to put a price on the way that the 5-axis, like, I don't know what the right word is, reinvigorated me with machining.
Yeah.
Because it's just a whole new world and like a new tier of machine. You can really count on the machine to nail the things that you're trying to do. You don't have to account for any, I'm not sure if the machine can do this type of things. And it's fun. It's like you've always had to drive on the face of the planet before, and now you can go any direction that you want.
You have a whole nother access in the car.
It's freedom. Yeah. It's a lot of freedom.
That's I like that analogy. And it's true. I mean, it's so cool how the part just kind of floats in there and then the tool is cutting it. It's just amazing. So you're making the military edition. And we talked about new things all the time. Our next new thing is the military edition. And we've talked about it a lot, and this episode will come out with plenty of time ahead of time, but it's November 11th every year. There's another episode that I did just about the history of the pocket watches inside the military edition, which is pretty cool. We got all the footage that Brandon and his team and William and the whole team have collaborated on and brought together the last few days. So that's all coming soon. But when this episode comes out, it'll just be a few days until we're in New York City, releasing the watch at Wind-Up Watch Fair. If you don't know what Wind-Up Watch Fair is, it's at this point, I think, the largest watch trade show in the world. It's in New York City. They do 3 a year. I think San Francisco, Chicago, and New York. But the New York one's going to have 60 brands like us, 60 micro brands or independent watch companies. It's like trade show style, but it's free and open to the public. So anyone can walk in, buy watches, all this stuff. And we are releasing and announcing the military edition that day when we get to that show, which is the Friday in October. And it's going to be, we'll create all kinds of, content around that, but that's what's coming up. That's like just planning on that, getting excited around that. And what I've been working on for the last, week and a half is what's called the military edition email journey. And so it's a set of 8 emails that just educate people on why we build the military edition, the last few models that we've made, the thought we put into those, and just getting people excited about the next one. And so if you want to learn more about that, it's vorticwatches.com/military. That's where you sign up for that list for the emails. And then that's where you can learn about the watch that we're going to roll out. And that's the next big thing as of the airing of this. And the next big thing as of right now is we're doing a soft opening tomorrow. So when it rains, it pours. And we were just let's just schedule everything on the same week, I guess. Yeah. And we were thinking about calling it grand opening, but I think soft opening is much better. It's just hey, we're here. We're 95% moved in. Mm-hmm. We got most of the machines on, and we're doing tours.
It's an opportunity for locals to see the shop now that we've got it set up. We've still got a few things we need to do before we really have a big announcement to the town that we're here, but we want to let people know we're here. I think we're planning to have a bigger grand opening in spring, but looking forward to seeing some people's reactions to the space and letting people know we're here.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. We got the sign up. You guys learned that on the last video, so that's good. We got lights on the sign yesterday. That's exciting. I mean, it's lights, camera, action around here at this point.
A lot of stuff going on.
I wouldn't say it's done, but I feel like we can just make watches again. We don't have to think about as much of the building stuff and the new machine stuff.
Yeah, we've had the electricians in and out of here for the last 2 weeks trying to get everything all polished off and finished. I think they're going to be in today.
Cool.
In again today. But the way I'd say it is our parking lot has been full for the last month with contractors, people doing training, just so much going on every day. The videographers. It's been a lot.
And it's not going to stop.
In a good way, but it's a lot.
It's cool. It's gonna be cool to see the momentum of all this come together and just keep building the thing. So
yeah.
Anything else you want to share on the episode? That was everything we I guess, a longer episode, but we accomplished a lot in the last 2 weeks, if you can't tell. So,
yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, as always, thank you for joining myself and Tyler on Custer and Wolfe building a watch company. If you want to subscribe here on YouTube so you get alerted and be one of the almost to 200 subscribers that we have, maybe we'll hit 200 before this even goes live. That'd be cool. Then you can hit the subscribe button that's down here. You can also learn more and sign up for our weekly email newsletter from Vortic Watch Company at vorticwatches.com. You'll see a sign up link there. We send one email a week that includes this video, link to this video, and a weekly roundup of all the awesome watches that we've made in the last week. So check us out. Let us know your feedback in the comments. Let us know your questions in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great week, everyone.